adolescents struggle with stress, and it only gets worse. Many adolescents struggle with mental health, and it only gets worse with stress. Many of you guys have something traumatic happen to them, which then starts anxiety, depression, or even PTSD. 1 in 5 adolescents struggle with mental health, and many of you guys know that many of you might be. This information was found in ACOG, Clinical Mental Health Disorders in Adolescents. I know many of you guys were probably like me, always being nervous to complete something on time or do it correctly. Or maybe you were just going through something. As someone who is an adolescent, like many of you, there are ways to fix what you're going through. There has been a rise in mental health in adolescents in the past couple years because of stress and anxiety with race and genders. All of this can be helped with resources. So now I want to talk about mental health and how mental health affects you and how you can control it. So now let's look at the data on mental health. Today, more and more adolescents are struggling with their mental health. There are studies that have found that 1 in 3 adolescents have struggled with sadness or helplessness in 2019. Since 2009 to 2019, there has been a 40% increase on mental health in adolescents who make suicidal plans. All of this data was given by an article by a government called Youth Risk Behavior Survey Data, Summary and Trends Reports. 51.5 African American, 64.1 Hispanic, 71.6 white, 66.3 lesbian, gay, or bisexual, and 32.2 heterosexual adolescents are now sad because of their gender or their ethnicity. Students who struggle with mental health stop going to mental health services. They don't cancel their appointments or even respond to their services. They're stopped for many reasons. They either think that they're done with their clinics or they don't want to be treated anymore. They also have their limits of reach or their financial reasons. All this research was given by Penn State. Let's watch this video by the National Mental Health Institute to dive a little bit deeper into the topics that are coming up. Okay, don't watch the video.
To learn about stress and anxiety in adolescence. Anxiety is your body's reaction to stress and can occur even if there's no current threat. If anxiety doesn't go away and begins to interfere with your life, it could affect your health. There are several coping strategies you can try to reduce your anxiety and stress. Keep a journal to help identify and challenge your negative and unhelpful thoughts. Do a body scan to identify physical symptoms of stress and anxiety in your body, like headaches or body pain. Download an app that provides relaxation or mindfulness exercises, such as deep breathing or visualization. Exercise, eat healthy, avoid caffeine, and stick to a sleep routine. And reach out to your friends or family members who can help you cope in a positive way. If you are still struggling to cope or the symptoms won't go away, share how you're feeling with a parent or trusted adult. It may be time to talk to a healthcare professional.
Now I want to talk to you guys about how mental health affects you. Right now I'm taking an early childhood development class, and did you guys know that the younger you are, the more your mental health can be affected? I'm going to give you guys 2 examples on how it can be affected. So there was a student who was always freaking out when his teacher would walk by him. They had no clue why. He would always get upset. Then they figured out it was her perfume. She wore the same perfume that his mom had worn when she had beat him. And so that affected his brain, and instantly he got nervous or upset with her. Another example is a 4-year-old and a 16-year-old. They go through the same exact thing, but the 4-year-old is going to have worse PTSD than the 16-year-old because their brain has more time to develop than the 16-year-old. Mental health can come as many forms. It can come as anxiety, depression, or PTSD. Anything, even as something as small as a smell, can affect it. School can also be stressful on you. Some teachers state that students' health declines in the school year because of homework, tests, and so much more. Your mental health is important, and there are ways you can help it. You can naturally or medically improve it. The first way is naturally, is what I do. You can read, work out, or anything you need to do to relax your body. The second is medically, and that's when you can go to a professional to get medication. Another option that you can do is you can talk to a friend so that you can go on to a different topic if needed. Also, if you don't want to talk to a friend, you can maybe talk to a trusted adult. So now I'm going to start wrapping it all up. We had talked about the data with mental health in adolescents, how mental health affects you, and how you can control it. The rise in mental health in adolescents have increased in the past couple of years because of stress, anxiety with race and gender. And this can all be helped with these stresses. Remember, you are important and your mental health.